With the Olympics currently happening over in Beijing, it got us wondering what would be the best Team Canada roster ever assembled if we considered every player who has ever played. Ryan Alex from Dopamon here again, your source on YouTube for all things hockey, so leave a like, subscribe for more dope hockey content.
And today, we are going head to head, revealing our full rosters and lines to have you guys decide which all time Team Canada roster is best, and if they played against each other, who would win.
We'll jump right in. We're going from forwards to goalies, not the other way around as we've done previously for our roster reveal videos and stuff like that, predictions. So first lines end up a little different, surprisingly. We all know who's centering this line, I think, on both, and we all know who's on the right wing. For both of us, we have Gretz and Mario, but I have Dale Howard-Chuck on the left side, and you have Connor McDavid. Explain yourself.
I have Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid is our generational talent, and the generations keep getting better. Nobody in history has moved the puck at the same speed as Connor McDavid is doing right now, and some of it has to do with technology. Skates have gotten better, sticks have gotten stronger, but at the core of it, he is playing on a level that nobody has before, and I can't take him off the first line.
It's definitely tempting, just the speed that he plays
Mm-hmm.
with, but I went for a little bit more of a team synergy look. Dale Howard-Chuck has experience playing with Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux back in that was a line for the Canada Cup in the 80s. And Dale Howard-Chuck, no slouch in his own right, I believe was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 40-goal seasons in his career, 518 goals, 1,409 points in his incredible career. The late Dale Howard-Chuck makes my first line. What do we have for two, Alex?
Two. We're a little bit different here. My second line, Bobby Hull, Sidney Crosby, and Guy Lafleur.
Yeah, we're a lot different here. I went pure goal scoring. Steve Yzerman, Phil Esposito, and Mike Bossy. Probably in my top six here are the best Canadian goal scorers ever. The only, if you want to count the best goal scorers ever, there's a few, there's a Russian guy who's fairly good as well. But we're only talking about Team Canada. I put Steve Yzerman on the left side here. We're gonna, limit ourselves to left wing can only play left wing. We make this team like they would be assembled for, say, an Olympic or, other international tournament. Phil Esposito, one of the only guys ever to score 150 points in a season, one of the only guys ever to score 70 plus goals in a season, 717 goals in his career, and Mike Bossy being one of the best goal scorers ever from a points per game perspective. Only played 752 games, but had 573 goals and had almost every one of his seasons be above 50 goals. Incredible career for how short it was.
Yeah, I liked having some goal scoring on my second line as well. Bobby Hull is a 7-time Maurice Richard Trophy winner. He is a goal scorer. I loved having him with Sidney Crosby, Sid the Kid. Another generational talent. I sometimes will bag on Sidney Crosby on this channel, but credit has to go where credit's due. He has the combination of two-way sense, skill, speed. He's like the all-round package, and I can't. It's hard to, there's a few guys, may contend over him, but he still has a long career ahead of him. And Guy Lafleur on the right, he's another guy who can score. Doesn't have as many Maurice Richard trophies, but he's got 5 Stanley Cups. He is Montreal's all-time leading scorer, and I had a good feel. I have a feeling Lafleur and Crosby together. I just have a good feeling about that combo.
Yeah, it's a great combo. He's got some speed and some scoring there with Bobby on the left side. Third line here, I'll just go up and reveal it. I got Brian Trottier with Joe Sakic and Guy Lafleur. Guy Lafleur making my third line. This line for me is the kind of speed, energy, veteran, leadership kind of line. This is the line that holds this team together for me. Brian Trottier, Guy Lafleur, and Joe Sakic. Brian Trottier, incredible career with the New York Islanders and briefly with the Penguins later in his career. Over 500 goals, 1,400 points. Joe Sakic, same thing. 600 plus goals, 1,600 points is incredible. And Guy Lafleur, like you said, an absolute demon on the ice. And you got a little bit of a different look.
Yeah, a little bit of a different look here. Steve Yzerman down the middle. You had him on yours as well. I love Yzerman. Uh, on the wing or down the middle, he'll score. But on the left, I have Eric Lindros, who also could play down the middle. I feel like he just didn't get his chance to, play at his best for very long. But when he was playing at his best, he was one of the most dominant forwards of all time. And on the right wing, Mr. Hockey.
Yeah, I had a really hard time with a couple of these decisions. Your left side is looking a lot different than mine. You can
Mhm.
introduce first your fourth line. We'll reveal this now.
Dale Hawerchuk, Brian Trottier, and Mike Bossy. Trottier and Bossy played together a little bit in for the Islanders in the early '80s.
Yeah.
So I had them together. They are kind of successful, in case you didn't know. And Dale Hawerchuk, you mentioned him before, the late Dale Hawerchuk. He just an incredible forward as well. So I feel like he tie in the chemistry between those two pretty well.
Yeah, and I have the two newer guys, current players that you have on your team higher in the lineup on my fourth line. Anchoring that fourth line, Connor McDavid and Sidney Crosby. Who wouldn't want to see that with Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey? What I just think with the speed, the playmaking, and the power forward, 50 style that Gordie Howe played, I think this line would be absolutely incredible. I think that you know all of these lines are incredible. Honestly, obviously Canada has such a deep history. A couple of guys that we have are different. I had a really hard time leaving both Bobby Hull and Eric Lindros off this team. I
Hmm.
have Joe Sakic and Phil Esposito, and you do not on my main roster. Um, Built a little differently that way.
Hmm.
I don't. I think at any point we're gonna snub somebody. Who do you have for an extra? I think we have the same guy.
We both agree. Maurice Richard, the Rocket.
Yeah, you can't leave Maurice Richard
No,
off this team.
no.
He's I had struggled putting him as an extra. Like there's look at the right side of both of our teams. They're identical with a little bit of a switch. Holy crap! How do you get Maurice Richard in there on the right side? His whole I don't know. I struggled with it. I put him as my extra. Maybe he ends up playing his off wing. He was an absolute animal. And yeah, great extra, I think.
Completely agree. Between all the guys that between our teams, our forwards that we had, different, he's the one guy that we're both like, we both agree if the extra forward. I love that.
I believe too, we'll get into defense, that we have very, very similar defenses,
Hmm.
which I kind of think is kind of cool. We have differ a lot in our defensive hockey opinions, but we have the same core, and I think I'll reveal just our top four. That's right. I think it's the same.
It is the same.
We got Ray Bork, Bobby Orr, with Paul Coffey and Larry Robinson. Larry Robinson, I'm glad that you have him on here, is one of the most underrated defensemen ever. I mean, well, not underrated. That's the wrong word. Underappreciated as
Fair. Yeah,
far
I
as
agree.
you know, all-time great defenseman. He doesn't get mentioned enough, and I think this top four beats any team that they play against.
He was considered one of the best players of all time when he was active. I think Larry Robinson is definitely underappreciated for what he was for his whole career. Doesn't get the shine that some of the others on this list do.
Yeah. Our third defensive pairing is where it differs slightly. We have on your side Chris Pronger and Doug Harvey, and I have Chris Pronger and Eddie Shore. Explain
Hmm.
Doug Harvey.
Blaine Eddie Shore, it was pretty. We both had to dig a little bit to go back, but Doug Harvey was part of a pretty successful Montreal Canadiens team. And I thought that he was a huge part of why it was successful at the time. Defense was kind of underrated, underappreciated, and I think he kind of made a name for himself as a defenseman.
For me, I picked Eddie Shore for one reason. I think a defense pairing with Chris Pronger and Eddie Shore
Yeah.
eats everybody alive. This is the toughest, meanest, best, third defensive pairing I think anyone could ever put together. Eddie Shore, for those who don't know, played in the 20s and 30s, and he was the first big defensive superstar. He is the only defenseman to win 4 Hart trophies for most valuable player. No one else has done that as a defenseman, not even Bobby Orr is 3. He didn't score a lot as far as points go. 552 games played for back then was pretty good, but only 284 points. He wasn't a scorer. He was a controversial punch your face off and eat your nose off your face kind of player. And I would love to see him with Chris Pronger on a team.
I mean, I wouldn't
Extras.
want to face against it, but
No,
I would
God,
definitely
no.
have to be to cheer for that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
we have the same extra as well, don't we?
I think so, yes. We both?
Arguably one of the most decorated, achieved defensemen of all time,
Yeah.
Dennis Hotman.
Yep. 3 James Norris trophies. Part of that, great Islanders team. There's a lot of Islanders on this team from that era. There's 3, I think, on each side. And yeah, I think a great extra could slip in if you have a injury on the top 6 or top pair or bottom pair. It doesn't matter. He's got a lot to give here. Our goaltenders. This I think is where the difference is on who wins this. Obviously, goaltending, big part of any team.
Mhm.
Who do you got as your starter?
Now we had a flip on starter backup.
Yeah,
We agree on the two. We agree on the tandem, but we both gave a nod to the other goaltender,
yeah,
and I have Martin Brodeur.
yeah. And I got Patrick Waugh, and we'll reveal it again. Patrick Waugh, Martin Brodeur. Why Brodeur over Waugh?
Oh man, he is. If you're trying to be for the same reason
It's a
that
hard
I'm gonna
question
get,
to ask.
yeah, like two amazing goaltenders for like I feel like Waugh will rise to the occasion. The right, like if you're like playing a big game, like he's the guy you want, but if you're trying to like stop pucks and deny the opposing goal scorer, I want Brodeur to be my goaltender, and I want a team to like when you're gonna shoot against Brodeur, you do not know what you're shooting against. How is he gonna save it? Is he gonna flip and is he gonna reinvent an entire style of goaltending? Who knows? You do not have a book on Martin Brodeur. Patrick Waugh, gonna stand on his head and rise to the occasion. I don't know. Brodeur scares me more, just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. My logic was Patrick Waugh was the more accomplished big game playoff guy
Mm-hmm.
in his
Rose to
career.
that occasion
Yeah.
for sure.
And honestly, both of these guys, you could argue, for and against the best goaltender of all time. There's people, who would tell you Martin Brodeur, other people who would tell you Patrick Waugh. There's people like me who would tell you Dom Hasek, but we can't actually pick him because he's not Canadian. Patrick Waugh is my guy. Extras are interesting for you.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little curious why you picked your extra. I like
You know
it.
what? I consider him the Carey Price. I consider him the best goaltender of this generation. He might have passed it off to a Russian goaltender,
Mm-hmm.
um, but his for the same reason that I have Patrick Waugh up here in his ability to rise up to an occasion. You look at his season stats over like the past like 5 have not been great, but him in the playoffs, like whole other beast.
Yep.
And that, like what you would get from Waugh when he, steps up to the occasion, and that terrifies me that Price can just become like be the calmest, just a brick wall and nothing else. And yeah, so he's my backup. There's a lot of, options out there, and I think that part
Tons.
of, the generation that you're talking about has a lot to do with it. They're obviously higher scoring eras and, you know, different goalie pads and, you got to think about, but I like Carey Price.
Yeah, talking about different equipment, I got Jacques Plante in there. So,
Mhm, mhm.
the not the inventor of the goalie mask, but the first person to make it popular anyway. Reason I picked Jacques Plante is every time I look at his numbers and I consider the time of, the era of hockey he played, look at all of his numbers. I'll just rattle off a few save percentages in a row here, so I'm not cheating. 926, 929, 920, 922, 925, 915, 906, 923, 913, 910. In the 50s and the 60s, this man was putting up 925 save percentages a year, 30, 40 wins on a good Habs team, mind you. But I think Patrick Waugh and Martin Brodeur can say the same thing. They were on good teams as well. I think Jacques Plante in the era that he played is, era adjusted, probably one of the better goaltenders of all time, and I don't think he gets enough credit for it. So he goes on my list. But that's it.
Mhm.
Those are our teams. Who wins? You let us
Yeah,
know.
which team's better? This is obviously it's me, but I want people to, justify it and, reinforce my
No,
awesomeness.
absolutely not. Whoever the guy who leaves off Phil Esposito off his team loses this battle, and Eddie Shore would beat the crap out of Doug Harvey. No
Yeah.
disrespect to Doug Harvey, because he would beat the crap out of me. Um, Let us know what you think about our teams. Who did we leave off the list that you would put on their list on your all-time Canada teams? And yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you want more dope hockey content. We're on your way soon. That's it for now. Peace.